Okay, so we're into the final 20 minutes of the programme, and I've just got time to fit one more guest in for the evening, and more beautiful vocals indeed. Now, the final guest, she's a singer-songwriter herself. She's navigating the world of jazz and folk. She's described as being at the intersection of Joni Mitchell and George Benson. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, but what I do know is that I love her voice when I heard it. So I'm delighted to be joined now by Rosie Frater-Taylor. Welcome to the scene, Rosie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on. I'm headlining apparently.
There you go, exactly.
Headlining the show.
You're the headline act. How do you feel?
I'm honoured. I am very honoured.
Well, look, I'm so happy to have you tonight because today is a big day for you. Do you want to tell everybody why?
Yeah, well, today the new single from my upcoming album is out, and it's one of my favourite songs from the album, and so it's really great because it was a bit of a labour of love working on the song and working on the mixing and the whole process. So it's really great to have it out today, and really great that you've got me on so I can talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, when I heard the song and your voice, I just thought it was just stunning. Now, listen, how did Joni Mitchell and George Benson end up on your radar, influencing you when you're 21? So how did that come about?
Well, I mean, my parents are musical. They're actually musicians. Some might say jazz musicians. I don't know what they would say, but my mum is a very big Joni Mitchell fan. And my dad is actually a jazz drummer, very into jazz. So I've sort of had a lot of folky, worldy, jazzy influences going on, like around the house whilst they were cooking, since I was super young. And they sort of kind of introduced me to those sounds. And then more recently, actually, I've sort of been getting more into Joni Mitchell. But George Benson, I mean, he's my favourite jazz guitarist. And so I'm studying jazz guitar at the minute. Quite a niche degree, I have to say. Jazz guitar at the Royal Academy of Music. And so I've been playing a lot of jazz for a while.
What is the name of your degree then?
Well, it's a Bachelor of Music.
Okay. So it's not a degree in George Benson.
It's not a degree in George Benson. However, I don't know, maybe I'll start that.
Yeah. Well, listen, the question I was asking people is, what would you teach? So if you had to teach something, because, lots of people are having to homeschool. So maybe that can be the thing that you teach, a degree in George Benson.
Yeah, well, obviously the insanely amazing thing about George Benson is his improvising, not only his on its own, the guitar on its own, but his voice and his ability to combine the two, which is something I've done a lot of work on, and I like to do in my own when I'm playing live and on my own tracks. Lovely. So I've got another track out at the minute called Better Days, and that features a lengthy guitar vocal solo a la George Benson. So
there you go. You're living it. So look, you've been immersed then in music since being a child, having grown up about it and within it. And actually, I was thinking that your name, Rosie Frater-Taylor, I feel like it's such a sort of showbiz name anyway. So it's almost like this is destined, But do you remember the first song that you wrote? And what was it like?
The first song that I wrote, so I've been writing since I was quite young, really, maybe about 10 or 11. I had a little kiddie band with a couple of friends that my dad would encouraged, my parents openly encouraged. And so, but then I started writing a little more seriously when I was about 16, studying for my A-levels and stuff. So the first song I wrote was actually the first track I put on my old album, on my last album, On My Mind. And that was, in fact, the first project I ever produced on my DAW or Cubase, which is a music program. And that was that sort of, I wrote that, and it sort of opened my ears up a little bit to this idea of being able to sort of blur genre lines and sort of create interesting songs that are equally accessible. So I feel like that song actually was a good starting point. Yeah,
And
Lullaby it's called.
oh, beautiful! I love the sound of that. And what does it do for you? Like, how does it feel? How do you feel when you're making music? Because before I was talking to Jonesy D of Breaking Convention, and he was saying that hip hop dance is an element of healing to it. So, do you get any similar sort of sense from music when you're making music?
Yeah, I mean, music is my life. Like,
Mm.
I can't imagine really doing anything else with my time, anything else with my life. I mean, there's a certain degree of healing to creating anything, and like creating something new. It can be very satisfying as much as it can be healing. But then also, just the experience of. So I'm a guitarist as well, and I occasionally play guitar for other people, and the experience of playing in a band, which I've done. I actually did a little live stream at Ronnie Scott's over lockdown, which was really good fun because I haven't played live in a long time, and it was actually supporting someone else. I was playing for someone else, and it was really a really amazing experience, having been shut inside for all this time, to play guitar with people. So in that sense, it's seriously healing, just the communicative aspects of it.
Yeah. And what do you want people to kind of feel? Can you? I don't know if you can say that. How would you like people to react and respond when they hear your music?
Well, I think I would like them to feel like they're hearing something completely new. So when I'm writing, I mentioned a little earlier, but I love kind of genre crossover, like including as many relevant genres in my songs as I can, which I think is something actually not a lot of people explore. So one of my big inspirations is a lady singer-songwriter, very, very, very talented, called Becca Stevens. And I really can't think of too many people who really maximize their songwriting palette and draw from as many different genres as they can. Because I think About You, which is the track that is obviously out today, is a good example of this, because it's got those elements of pop in the melody, there's elements of jazz in the improv and in the rhythm, and it's also got those elements of folk in the harmony.
For me, it's a little bit. There's elements of Jessie Ware. I think you sound a little bit Jessie Ware on this track. I don't know how you feel about that.
A little Jessie Ware. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not actually too aware of her stuff, but if you say so,
okay.
If you say
well,
so,
I might get to play some at the end of the programme. If I do, make sure you keep listening, and you'll get to hear.
Oh, absolutely.
So look, just before we play the track, just tell me about this body of work. Was it all done in the period of lockdown? Because you've got this album coming out in May. So have all of these tracks been written since we've been in this pandemic?
No, it's actually a combination of tunes I've written over the past 3 years or so, and I think you can actually hear it in the writing and in the different selections of influences. Like it sort of mirrors the different kinds of music I've been into over the course of the past 3 years. But I would say maybe about half the songs were written over the course of lockdown, because I just had time. I had time for the first time in a long time. I had some time to really, listen to a lot of music, and to really just get into the really lovely creative vibe. I'm in my bedroom / studio at the minute, and it's been nice to spend. I mean, as strange as it sounds, it's been nice to spend some time in this space, producing and playing all of my instruments and just being creative, really. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you've been able to have your creative juices flowing during this time, and it's culminated in both what you were doing before and some new stuff for now as well. And this single, Think About You, what would you like people to know about Think About You?
What would I like people to know about Think About You?
Or is it just a case of listening to it?
Well, I guess it's a combination of things I've been talking about. I guess it's sort of, I would say this track, more than the others on the album, sort of was inspired by my love of groove music. To an extent, I guess maybe like R&B and soul music. There's some of those vibes in there, like John Mayer-esque. A good friend of mine played bass on the track, and he's heavily inspired by Pino Palladino, who plays bass with John Mayer. So it's sort of those groovy vibes. So maybe that will come across. We'll find out.
Love it. And Rosie, for people that do want to find out when or see the album when it comes out, listen, buy it, and all of that good stuff, where can they find out about you and keep in touch with what you're doing?
So I'm on all the social media platforms. I guess I'm maybe most active on Instagram at the minute, but also my website is just my name, www.rosiefrater-taylor.com, if you would like to see more.
Okay, well, look, without further ado, I think we should play the track. Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah, this is Think About You, the second single from my new album.
Lovely.
I think about you all the time. It's like you got a hold of my heart. Affection, lose connection, don't say goodbye. 'Cause I don't think that I can. Perfection, need protection. If I hold too tight, you better put me right. My reflection, lose connection, or just tell me why. Even though I'm with you all the time, everything I do, yeah, you're always on my mind. In every part of me, oh, just tell me it will be alright. Na 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 na. Thinking about another life, I think about you day and night. Alright, direction, no objection, I'm a little shy, but in time I will arrive. I'll learn in lessons, speak confessions if I don't know why. I find it hard to classify. Well, stolen moments, old emotions, it'll be alright. Everything I do, yeah, you're always on my mind. always on my mind, in every part of me.
Rosie Frater-Taylor and her track, which was released today, Think About You. Beautiful. Thank you so much to Rosie for joining me on the programme. So I'm nearly done now. Salma El-Wadani is